Hi Pisces, welcome to your September 2015 Alchemy Scope. I am filming this on our Leo new moon, and I hope you're well. It's been an expedited time frame for a lot of people, with a lot of activity, a lot of movement for change, both internal and external. So I hope this Alchemy Scope video finds you managing this process for yourself and how your life is wanting you to direct it. I hope that all of that is unfolding well. So let's get into it. So again, if you've tuned in the past, this is a holistic 6-point alchemy scope. And it's called an alchemy scope because it is an alchemic recipe of all the archetypal and symbolic and storied aspects of the cycles and patterns of living systems, alchemically transmuting our souls, which it always does. But this particular alchemy scope is coming forward every month at the new moon cycle in order to help us see these patterns and cycles so that we can harness them and move into new incarnations of ourselves. So let's talk about the symbol. So for this particular Leo new moon, the symbology imbued is quite something, because if you tuned in a couple of months ago, I had a video called New Realities that came out right after the mid-June new moon. And at the full moon, July 1st, 2015, was the first of 3 conjunctions between Venus and Jupiter. And that happened on 21 degrees Leo, which is the point at which we are having this Leo new moon, 21 degrees Leo. The Sabian symbol for this particular degree point is a carrier pigeon fulfilling its mission. What does that mean? It certainly means that the thick of this summer, this chapter of the last couple of months at least, have been ripe with the theme, the story of receiving a message, of a carrier pigeon fulfilling its mission, which is delivering a message. So we are receiving messages. Messages are coming to us. We are receiving information that is helping to guide us along our path into our next chapter of our own soul's story. It's thick with that. So this particular month, this new moon at Leo leading into the new moon in mid-September is ripe with the potential of receiving information, receiving internal insights, receiving external messages that will help us along our path, okay? So then when we go into the Pisces microcycle, what I do, if you've tuned in before, you know this, I pull up the I Ching. And you received, so for Pisces-centric people, your story, a story for at least some of you out there, if not a majority, is number 59, dispersing. And again, the hexagrams are a stack of 6 lines. There's a lower trigram of 3, an upper trigram of 3. Together it makes the hexagram. And the 2 trigrams for you is wind above. So the 3 lines above are wind. The 3 lines below that trigram is water. Now I'm going to read this here. It's a reminder. I'm reading this from the Visionary I Ching. And let me read this to you here. So number 59, dispersing. Nothing survives forever, not even rocks, not even the most rigid structures. All obstacles dissolve in time. The erosion of that which has been solid is not necessarily bad. It can mean that something new is being created. Another image is of ice floes, hardened in winter, dispersing in the warmth of spring. When the ice melts, a mighty river emerges. This is a time of small changes producing big results over time. Rigidity in the hearts of men tend to breed a separateness that can only be thawed by a greater force, typically a strong spiritual stirring. The thawing of cold hearts always improves conditions. The first thing to dissolve is any internal rigidity within yourself that separates you from others, Pisces. Try to work more closely with others, concentrating on common activities with evidence, which evidence your integrity and native goodwill. Sudden, strong action in support of a greater good can lift the spirit and lead toward new possibilities in many areas. Spiritual impulses, including a sense of justice, should be honored and, hold on a second, and acted upon, period. They can provide an initial gentle impulse to important and constructive change. Nevertheless, if you should have any lingering business or other partnerships that are inactive or not working, you might consider dissolving these. So Pisces, for you, it's about dissolving rigid structures, those that are rigid within yourself and or those outside of yourself that are just not resonant, okay? So I've already shuffled my cards, and I'm going to go ahead and pull them. So I'm using, you're familiar with my big, juicy 144 card series deck that I made for myself that I use for my own readings. And we'll pull those to pull out the particular, I'm looking at the clock right now, it's 11:11. How lovely. So let's go ahead and pull it. So this is the growth edge, the story that is likely to be unfolding for at least some, if not the majority of Pisces out there. So let's see, Pisces, what's happening for you this month. Okay, let me take a look. Okay, so Pisces, for you, a central theme for you coming up this month is a strength, an internal will to get clarity. So you're going to be in a space this month of wanting, almost demanding clarity of within yourself, of your own path, and also maybe kind of an impatience that you might feel externally. It's like, damn it, I want to get clear on what needs to happen now. There's going to be, you're going to feel, and I'll show you some of these cards in a minute. You're going to feel some, you might be feeling stuck or that there's resistance happening to you. And I will tell you, a lot of people are feeling that right now. So you're not alone. And there's reasons for that. There's the energy set that I might have mentioned in the last scope about this Jupiter-Saturn square that has had this push-pull effect that we are feeling, the quickening, especially the intuitive folks out there. You're feeling, you have been feeling this quickened desire, a deeper desire, a more defined need to align yourself. And there's also this time of reflection that we're forced into. So even though we're wanting to push ourselves to a next incarnation, we're being forced to really hone, okay, what is it that you want? And review more, hone more. So it's a bit of a push-pull. There's a couple relational cosmic things at play that are creating this energy set of a limit and restriction. So you might be feeling a bit of resistance, and you might be feeling the resistance internally, you might be feeling the resistance externally. It's probably both, because the external resistance is going to create the internal and vice versa. So, and it's going to prevent, so that emotionally this feeling of resistance, it's going to be tied to a sense of magic and flow and chemistry. So you're going to feel that things are stuck with magic, that magic is not unfolding now during this particular cycle. But hang in there. It is really just part of this particular cycle that we're all collectively moving through. But for you particularly, you're going to feel it. But you are, I'm going to show this center section again, because it's really beautiful, because you are going to essentially demand clarity for your life, in your mind, in your heart. You're going to want clarity, and you're going to kind of demand it. And this is about demanding it of yourself. And also, I think what I'm getting is that there's going to be an impatience that you might experience this month. Impatience with, again, the next steps that I was talking about earlier, but also just with getting clarity, because there is a lot. You are inherently a very psychic, tuned in, connected sign. So those that are very Pisces centric, you have a Pisces sun, ascendant, moon, your north node, you are tuned in. And there's a lot of information active in our field of consciousness, and you are getting probably bombarded with a lot of information, opportunities, signs, signals, a lot of information coming at you, and you're going to want clarity within all that. But it's interesting, because what's coming up, Pisces, is that you are, you're going to have trouble focusing mentally. But what's calling to happen is that your higher self is saying you need to focus as much as you can, because there will inherently be some confusion happening. Focus as much as you can, and then ask the right questions. And this is about asking your higher self. This is about asking yourself, and it's about asking your whoever is in your particular sphere of friends or family. That could also be the case. So it's about asking for help, asking, and this came up in the foundational sector. So it's about asking for help with stuff, you know. But there is going to be, you are mentally going to have inherently a little bit of issue with keeping focused. So just keep that in mind, hold it lightly, know that there's a lot of activity for a lot of us, but you, because you are so psychically tuned in inherently, you're probably just experiencing this more to a greater degree. Yeah, see, Spirit is saying that this is a time for you to move through this process with grace. So in the spiritual sector, this is about moving through the process with grace. And you will find that you have the ability to get to this place, which is a good thing. So you probably, even though you're going to be feeling some emotional resistance, the push is for you to get, and inherently you can do that. You can get here. But Spirit is saying move into getting, allow it. Grace is about strength in allowance. It's a will to allow. It's a deep wisdom in that, you know. But you are going to be in a dreaming phase during this month, imagining what you want. This is a good, so you're going to be accessing the imaginal realm is essentially what's happening, Pisces. I mean, you do have Neptune in your sign. So, and I didn't look at the astrology specifically, but it could be that this particular month, there's lots triggered for Neptune that is activating this dreamy state that you're stepping into that is creating a difficulty with focus. So there is going to be that coming up, which is not it's not a huge deal. It's just part of this particular cycle. So just hold it lightly, allow the process, be in a graceful state, and allow the process, okay? Beautiful. So let's take a look at your Ascended Master. This is Doreen Virtue's deck that I use every month. And let's see which master wants to come forward for Pisces for this cycle. Okay, Pisces, let's see. Retreat into nature, Green Man. It's a beautiful card to get. This card is a great card because whenever we get in a space of fuzziness, confusion, too much information, information overload, energy overload, nature grounds us. Meditate against a tree, go walk barefoot on grass, get out into the woods, go for a hike, connect with nature. Green Man, I have to say, this feels like such a deliciously, perfectly appropriate ascended master for you, especially with the confusion that is just inherently going to be coming up, and with sensing or feeling in a state of limit, constriction, contraction, limit, resistance. Okay, so because of the fuzziness, the inability to focus, nature will ground that. Because of the theme of resistance that you'll be experiencing, or you might be experiencing, nature will ground you, realign you, calm you, get you naturally, because nature is in a state of grace, always. So that, yeah, it's perfect for you. I love it. So Pisces, this is Carolyn Miss's archetype card deck. So we're going to pull up, like we do every month, we're going to pull up the quality set. What qualities are wanting to be evolved within and through you this month during this cycle? You know, it's interesting. So this card has come up before. It's not my favorite card because for me, and this is my own personal thing, this has nothing to do with you and it has nothing to do with the card itself, but it just, initially, it lands very lightly for me. So you received Damsel. Let me read it here. So the lower frequency manifestation is waiting for a knight to provide for you. Seduction by romantic illusion. What wants to be evolved into, what wants to be matured is understanding the nature of healthy romance inspires you to rely on yourself. Now, clearly, that is a beautiful archetypal maturation process. Damsel, I think for me, this is just a personal thing, brings up, you know, all sorts of things, which, so I don't know if I necessarily resonate with this particular name, but it's perfect. It's perfect. For right now, it's perfect. So this is about getting out of delusion and getting out of the idea that something like a knight in shining armor is going to save us or take care of us, really. Because this is about self-empowerment, Pisces. This is about getting out of delusion and into your own strength and love of self. And then moving into a healthier state of romance with others. See, it's beautiful. Let me read the evolved state again. Understanding the nature of healthy romance inspires you to rely on yourself. This is not about not engaging in a beautiful love and romantic relationship with another person at all, but it is about first getting to a place of deep empowerment with yourself. Deep love of yourself, deep reliance on yourself, because nobody can hold that kind of obligation by another. We all have to be our own self-empowered entities in order to be the healthy lover for another, yeah? So, okay, so Pisces, let's take a look at the Dakini that came up for you. And you received a beautiful one, and I have to tell you, looking at your spread, it's tying in a very interesting way. So let's talk about it. So again, at this final component, when I pull up the Dakini for the signs, what I ask is, which embodiment, which goddess are Pisces-centric people during the course of this cycle to embody so that they can optimally walk the path of this month with least effort. What is going to serve you, Pisces, the most this month? You received number 28, Dreamer. Now, again, I'm reading this from Penny Slinger's 64 Dakini Oracle. And I adore her. I resonate with her writing style. She's very clued in. She's very wise. So let me read a little bit here. So 28, Dreamer. She operates in the subconscious watery realms, employing the air of consciousness to connect with you in watery, unconscious ways. In her world, things float in air as if in water. Who is the dreamer? She is the lady of the dream world. She is dreaming the universal dream of all existence. I mean, this, when we're reading this, Pisces, you're going to understand that this is essentially the Piscean, you know, this is one of 64, by the way. So the 64 Dakini Oracle is 64, just like the Yogini Dakinis in India, and which replicates the 64 hexagrams of the I Ching. So there's lots of relationships going on here, yeah? She is the lady of the dream world. She is dreaming the universal dream of all existence. She takes different forms as characters can transform in the dream world and are subject to normal, and are not subject to normal restrictions. Which is interesting that restrictions comes up, yeah? Like resistance, restriction. So it's about you going into your deeper imagination, which is interesting. The reason why I said initially this is interesting is because you do inherently have this fuzziness of mind that is activated for you this month. And actually the guidance for you is to dive in deeply. So you're already in the state of lack of clarity. So it's almost like Spirit saying, okay, dream, be the dreamer. You know, go into that state. In other words, utilize the energies of this Neptunian confusion fuzziness and actually go deeper in it. That's why I love this for you so much. So it's about connecting with nature. It's about becoming self-empowered, and it's about diving into your dreamy state of being to the imaginal realm so that you can gain the clarity and the answers and insist on the clear seeing what you want to see come to pass. You know, it's like you might want to look into lucid dreaming, in other words, and you might want to look into really diving into your dream world in a whole new way. So she is the anima of Jungian psychology. She is your guide in the dreamscape. A central node in this reality is found in the aboriginal dream time. Another is located in the lucid dreaming practices of Tibetan mysticism. There you go. She is the keeper of dreams and the guardian of the dream world, weaver of dream catchers. In the dreamscape, dream time, worldwide net of dreams, aboriginal landscape of Australia, Tibetan dream yoga. That's kind of her sphere of influence there. You have been given your own personal dream catcher to protect you in the dream world and enrich and enlighten your dreams. You may rest in peace. The person receiving the dreamer has something to learn, things to receive from their dreams. The person receiving the dreamer has something to learn, things to receive from their dreams. Own your dreams as part of yourself. I like that for you. They may not be very civilized and a refined part, but they are part of you nevertheless. We spend a large portion of our life asleep and potentially dreaming. Even when we don't remember our dreams or have conscious access to them, they are going on nonetheless. Look for the dreamer in her different forms in your dreams. Ask her name if you get the opportunity. This is when you access that lucid dreaming state. If you encounter her, ask what she has to show you. it will be a secret between you. Are you a daydreamer? Do your daydreams enrich or deplete your life? Dreams are of different kinds and qualities. Some are simply the reprocessing of events. Some are your subconscious dealing with your hopes and fears. Some are just what ifs. So playing out scenarios. The subconscious doesn't abide by the rules and regulations of your conscious self. It doesn't abide by the same limitations. So those what ifs can spin out in wild, dramatic scenarios very easily. There are other dreams that have a certain atmosphere to them that make them feel real, different, and special. You know that they have a deeper resonance, a more symbolic significance, and sending messages to you that have relevance for your psyche. These dreams can be prophetic, mythic, and mystic. Sometimes they can feel like you are looking into another life, another time, which is very true. So Pisces, I am in fact going to leave it there. As you know, if you've tuned in before, Penny Slinger, who wrote this, who's beautiful and fantastic, she's written like a whole document. So if you choose, if you want to dive deeper, you can either link to her site, which is underneath this video, or you can link to an online library where I have some stuff in there, including the Dakini PDFs. So Pisces, I wish you a wonderful month, diving into your dreams, allowing the fuzziness, allowing the Neptunian state, allowing the connection to nature to ground you. It does appear to me that you are going to be getting information, that you have great potential this month to access deep information from spirit, from our field of consciousness. So you will be served this month. Tap in, try to let go of any inner resistance to what's going on. You know, be in a state of grace, be in a state of allowing the process to come, to happen, to occur, to emerge. And if any of you out there would like a private session with me, the link is below. You can link to my website to the service page. You can get your archetypal profile done, your symbolic profile done. You can have a session with me done. And for those of you interested, for those of you, you know, really riding this wave of self-evolution and would like some monthly support, I have a greatly discounted standing monthly appointment. So the Patreon link, if you want to support me and become a patron through Patreon at a certain monetary level, you get a monthly Skype appointment with me. You get access to Saturday live streams, and you get a mid-month mini alchemy scope. And it's a tremendously discounted package. So if you are at a place where you're wanting support and wanting connection and some coaching, some life coaching, I can help you. So all that information is below the video. Okay. So until I talk to you then, or until the next alchemy scope, I wish you a wonderful month, and I send you lots of love and infinite support. I'll talk to you soon.